Let's move on to the speaker's race. We brought you the news yesterday. The speaker's race has been dramatically impacted and could be accelerated by the Israel conflict. They want to push as much aid to Israel as possible. They can't do anything in the House of Representatives until they elect a speaker. Now, though, there doesn't yet seem to be any acceleration in the development. We brought you the news that there would be a meeting last night, and there was one, but it doesn't appear that anything actually happened. Let's put this up there on the screen. Quote, the GOP holds an emotional meeting on the next speaker, fails to unite on one. They had multiple people come up and speak. They said one member called it, quote, a therapy session. Others specifically called out the 8 people. I believe chicken shit was the most polite thing that was said about all of them, about the people who actually kicked out Kevin McCarthy. However, there have been major cracks that have now unfolded. 2 members say they will only vote for Kevin McCarthy. They're like, no, I won't vote for anybody else. I will only vote for Kevin. Some have united behind Congressman Jim Jordan, who is pictured there, who is openly declared and actually has a decent amount of endorsements. Some have united around Steve Scalise, the former number 2, who has also declared his candidate for speakership. Nobody has got 217 votes, which is what you actually need to become speaker. So this has spurned a new draft McCarthy movement back to his old job, which he said yesterday. He also has the backing of Newt Gingrich. Let's take a listen to that.
96% of the Republicans voted for McCarthy. 4% voted against him. From my position as a longtime Republican activist, they're traitors. All 8 of them should, in fact, be primaried. They should all be driven out of public life. What they did was to go to the other team to cause total chaos. We ought to be focusing on Biden. We ought to be focusing on the economy.
This is about a moment in time. This is about what America's going to do. Could you imagine if we were sitting here and we listened further to a Gates and Mace, that we were in a shutdown? That as we asked our 30,000 men and women in the military in the Middle East to defend us without being paid? That the question around the world of what was happening here today, that's a decision by the conference. I'll allow the conference to make whatever decision. Whether I'm speaker or not, I'm a member of this body. I know what history has had, and I can lead in any position it is.
I can lead in any position it is. Doesn't sound like he's bowing out like he did just 48 hours ago. What a crazy last 11 days we're talking about. It feels like everything's been the world has been accelerating since Dianne Feinstein died. It's only 11 days
She
ago.
triggered like a hole in the matrix or something
yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe
I think it might have been Trump that triggered
probably
that
had to
initial
happen.
hole. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, you're right. Trump was really the one who actually activated the code. Matt Gaetz, though, said, put this up there on the screen. He was like, yeah, a lot of people does not equal 218. Math is real. It's time to move forward. After one of his colleagues, Congressman Mike Lawler, said that there are a lot of people who believe Kevin McCarthy is the right person to lead us. So I don't really know what exactly is going to happen. We don't seem any closer to 217. We also know whenever it comes to the actual GOP, there will be another meeting tonight where allegedly they were going to have some sort of ballot process. One congressman who did come out of the meeting said that they wanted to resolve everything, either tonight or ongoing behind closed doors, before that they eventually were able to unite to 218 and then bring it to a vote on the floor in the House. Currently, the speaker election is still scheduled for Wednesday. There is supposed to be a vote on Wednesday for this, but the current indication in Washington does not appear that it will be successful or that will be resolved. Could be wrong. Something crazy could happen tonight, but I mean, I don't personally see a way that could happen.
I think you've got too many people who are too hard dug in. I mean, you got a few folks who are saying, I will only vote for McCarthy. You've got other people, obviously, in the Gates coalition who will 100% never vote for McCarthy. Steve Scalise out there kind of being like, hey, I'll be the middle ground. My personal guess at this point, yesterday, we brought you the reporting that they're trying to test the limits of what the interim speaker pro tem, what's his name, McHenry, who's a close
Patrick
McCarthy ally. They're trying to test the limits of what he can do as speaker pro tem. And, up to this point, the conventional wisdom has been exactly what we've been saying. You can't do anything until you elect a new speaker. Well, now they're starting to say, well, maybe you can, and we need to get this Israel aid done, and we want to do this pro-Israel resolution and whatever. It would not shock me if they just are unable to come to any sort of a resolution and he just ends up being this interim speaker for quite a while. while, I could even go until the next election. It's hard for me to see how this gets resolved. And usually if there is a path of inaction in Washington is available, that is the path that will be taken.
Absolutely.
Like the status quo doesn't require anything hard, doesn't require any negotiations, doesn't require anyone to do anything. Just continue on this course. That's how you end up with all of these like continuing resolutions and no real budget process, and all of that is just like, this is the default. So it wouldn't shock me if they just like figure out a way to kind of maintain this weird in-between status quo. I think that's certainly a possibility at this point. And the other piece, Saagar, that we were talking about some yesterday is, now you've got this desire for additional Israel aid, which the Republican caucus is, as far as I know, like 100% united behind, and very adamant in favor of. And then you still have the Ukraine aid that many Republicans and basically I think all of the Democrats want to see passed and Joe Biden wants to see passed. The new idea is, hey, we'll put these two things together and that's how we'll get it through. And it would not surprise me whatsoever if that's what ends up happening.
Wouldn't surprise me either. The only benefit that we might have is that Israel aid is actually on autopilot. The last time that it was passed, they have a $3 billion per year appropriation that doesn't have to be reauthorized every year. As I understand it, that has not been fully drawn down or whatever from that pile. So they may not even need more aid to be appropriated. And they probably will still give it just as a symbolic method. Just saying, though, it's not like it is a scenario in which they don't have to pass any new Israel aid. And if you don't have to do that, then you don't have to pass any more Ukraine aid.
But they want more Israel aid.
Of course they want more Israel aid. We'll see how it works out. I'd be very interested because it would be, I think, very difficult for many, even anti-Ukraine aid Republicans to vote against that if they tie it together. At the same time, they could be like, no, we're not going to allow you procedurally to tie that together. And then also some Democrats could vote against it. It might split that coalition, although who the hell knows. So procedurally, we're not there yet.
Many Democrats who would vote against Israel aid. There's maybe 3.
Yeah.
It's like Rashida
right.
Tlaib, maybe Ilhan Omar, I don't think I don't know. It's hard to say, but it wouldn't be a lot. Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're subscriber funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream media organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.